talk about ancient monsters, we often think of giant creatures like dinosaurs. However, imagine if you saw a dragonfly larger than half a meter flying around. Such creatures did exist, and they were called meganevers. These extinct dragonflies flew around our planet millions of years ago, and scientists have found fossils of them. In the late 19th century, researchers began to discover these fossils, and today, they are kept in museums around the world. Meganevers not only had long wings, but they also had limbs that allowed them to capture prey on the fly. It's hard to imagine that these creatures were once considered cute, but their ancestors inspired fear. Dinosaurs. Crocodiles and alligators are still a scary creature, but their ancestor, which lived on the planet 70 million years ago, was a real monster. Dinosaurs was an ancient crocodile that grew up to 12 feet in length. For comparison, modern crocodiles are only 4 times as long. It's no surprise that this creature would compete with and often defeat the famous Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the largest and scariest predators in history. To give you an idea of the size of Dinosaurs, imagine a person standing tall. He would fit in the mouth of a Dinosaurus comfortably. Based on the fossils found in North America, we can conclude that Dinosaurs lived for 50 years on average. The giant rat. Although the scientific name for this monster is Fabronis pattersoni, it is often referred to as Redzilla, combining the words red and Godzilla. These very Redzillas, which lived in Central America, weighed up to 700 kilograms and grew to 1.5 meters in length. Fortunately, these monsters, who look like giant rats or large guinea pigs, lived a long time ago, about 5 to 10 million years ago. Despite their impressive size and teeth, Redzillas apparently used them only to grind grass, their main source of food. There is a well-known myth about modern piranhas. Many people believe that they are deadly creatures that can attack humans and leave only a skeleton in the water after a short time. However, this myth comes from a movie book and has been refuted many times. If megapiranhas still existed today, it is likely that the information about their dangerous nature would not be considered a myth. These creatures lived 5 to 10 million years ago and could grow up to a meter in length. They had 2 rows of sharp teeth and were a real killing machine. Haast's eagle. If all the previous examples of creatures were from ancient times, then Haast's eagle lived on the planet relatively recently, only 600 years ago. This bird was mainly distinguished from the modern eagle by its gigantic size. It was about twice as large as the modern counterpart, with a wingspan of about 3 meters. These birds of prey lived in South Zealand, and their main source of food were animals called moas, which were 3 meter tall, somewhat resembling modern ostriches. Haast's eagles hunted these creatures without much difficulty, as they were much larger than their prey. The indigenous population of New Zealand, the Maori people, have stories about children being grabbed by the paws of these huge beasts and carried away. Fortunately, this was a long time ago, and Haast's eagles, like the moa birds they preyed on, became extinct about half a century ago. Kalenkin. These giant birds lived about 15 million years ago in North America. In order to understand how big these creatures were, you can look at the image in comparison with the average person. Among scientists, Kalenkin is called a real bird of terror, even though she could not fly. The main tools of this predator were a massive beak and speed. The calves could easily catch up with their prey, and then crush it with several powerful beak strikes, thus splitting the enemy's skull into pieces. Gigantopithecus. The name Gigantopithecus speaks volumes about these ancestors of modern monkeys. They are also considered great apes, but they were twice the size of modern-day apes. Although these creatures were herbivores and mainly ate bamboo, their size reaching 3 meters in hand length inspires fear and horror. This is especially true when considering the period in history when Gigantopithecines and primitive humans walked the earth together. Unfortunately, this species became extinct shortly after. Today, a large number of Gigantopithecus remains have been found in Asian countries, allowing scientists to learn more about these creatures. These findings have led to a better understanding of their lifestyle, diet, and other aspects of their lives. Arctidus. The modern bear is a large and dangerous creature, but its ancestor, which lived on the planet around 15,000 years ago, was even larger and more dangerous. This was the Arctidus, also known as the short-faced bear. To survive, the Arctidus needed to consume around 15 kilograms of meat every day. Because of this, these huge predators were excellent hunters. They could reach speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour. However, unlike modern bears, who can also reach similar speeds, Arctiduses were much stronger and could chase prey over long distances. As a result, among those who fell prey to the Arctiduses were not only horses and antelopes, but also mammoths. Interestingly, the Arctiduses became extinct relatively recently, around 10,000 years ago. Researchers have even found tools used by primitive people to fight against Arctiduses. Titanoboa. Almost immediately after the dinosaurs went extinct on Earth, a terrible new creature took their place, Titanoboa. This huge snake became the biggest predator on the planet. This is not surprising, as the dimensions of this creature could reach up to 13 meters and the weight up to a ton. Few would want to encounter a snake of such size in real life. It seemed like a real killing machine. However, many scientists believe that, despite its size, the main prey of Titanoboa were fish. Also, these creatures were sensitive to temperature and lived in warm territories of Central America, where the climate was comfortable. When the temperature on the planet started to decrease significantly, Titanobos died out, making way for snakes of smaller sizes. Crustaceans. Modern scorpions have a reputation for being dangerous creatures, but in fact this is not entirely true. Of the nearly 2,000 species of scorpions, only about 50 are venomous. Additionally, scorpions are actually quite small compared to their giant ancestors known as crustaceans, which lived several 100 million years ago and reached lengths of up to 2.5 meters. Although crustaceans may not have been as fast as other creatures of their time, their excellent maneuverability made them excellent hunters. Despite their size, they were able to move quickly and efficiently through their environments. Megalodon. Speaking of ancient monsters, it is impossible not to mention the megalodon, a huge shark that still haunts the imagination of many. Giant creatures that could reach up to 15 meters in length and weigh several tens of tons. We can find today all over the world the teeth of this monster, which barely fit into the palm of a human hand, and their number in its mouth reached almost 300. With such a set of teeth, the megalodon could easily bite through a whale's chest. Thanks to reconstructions, we can understand that a person could easily fit into the mouth of this predator. Although the vast majority of scientists are convinced that Megalodon died several million years ago, there are still many people in the world who believe that it is still alive. Supposedly, it can be found in those deep areas of the oceans that have not been explored by humans yet. Write in the comments your opinion. Do you think Megalodon is extinct or still alive? Leviathan. Speaking of the Megalodon, we cannot help but mention its main rival, Leviathan. This was an ancient whale, named after the biblical monster. Leviathan existed in the oceans 9 million years ago. Imagine the teeth of this creature were about 30 centimeters long. Therefore, Leviathan must have been gigantic. We all know what a 5-story house looks like, and that's exactly how tall Leviathan was. Like the Megalodon, Leviathan could not survive the climate change on our planet and became extinct. Megalania. Surely, many of you are familiar with the Komodo dragon. They live on our planet today and can grow up to 3 meters in length. However, the Komodo dragon has an ancestor that would truly terrify anyone. Megalania. Megalania was a large, prehistoric predator that could grow up to 7 meters in length and weigh 1 ton. In addition to its size, Megalania was also poisonous, making it a truly dangerous predator. This creature lived on the land of modern-day Australia, but despite its size and poison, its main enemy appeared to be humans. After humans began actively settling the continent, Megalania disappeared. Dunkleistus. This fish killer lived on our planet several 100 million years ago. Reaching up to 9 meters in length, the monster had sharp teeth and an incredibly powerful jaw. She allowed Dunkleosteus to bite through the tough shells of the creatures he hunted. Another superpower of Dunkleosteus is the speed with which he could open his mouth. just 1/50th of a second. That is, the prey did not even have time to understand anything before it was inside the predator's mouth. Also, the fossils that the scientists discovered allow us to say that the jaw was so powerful that it allowed literally chewing the prey along with the bones. In short, it is good that Dunkleosteus died out long before the appearance of man on planet Earth. Don't forget to like if you were interested in this video, also subscribe to the channel, click on the bell to always be aware of new videos, and of course leave your comments under this video.